Hi, PK here. I welcome you all for day 2 of automation of Python using Openpyxl. In today's video, we are going to learn how to open an existing Excel workbook by giving static path as well as runtime input, and how to find out the last row of a worksheet and last row of a specific column. Let's get into the tutorial.
So, as we discussed in the introduction part, first we are going to see how to load an existing workbook by using Openpyxl. Now, if you see here in my C drive test folder, I have two two XLSX file. One is 4 and the other one is test. So, I'm going to open any one from this. So, let me show you how to open this. So first, as usual, we have to import OpenPyXL, and after importing OpenPyXL, just to give absolute path, we are going to import again os.path. Now I have imported OpenPyXL as well as os.path. So what is next? Now I am going to there is a method called load workbook. Sorry, there is a module called load workbook, which is going to help us to load the existing workbook. So that module is actually there in OpenPyXL library. So how we are going to import that is from OpenPyXL. I am going to import load workbook. So this is actually the method load workbook. This is actually the module which is going to use us, which is going to help us to load the existing workbook. Let me show you one by one how we can do that now. So here I have a variable called path. For that variable, I'm just giving C drive test folder slash test dot xlsx. Now I have set up my path. So now this path only we are going to open. So whenever we are opening any workbook, we will be assigning into a workbook variable. So here again I am going to use wb equal to openpyxl dot openpyxl dot load workbook of path. So now what is my path? My path is C drive test folder test.xlsx. So here whatever the path I had given, that file will be open. Just to make sure that whether it is accessing or not, what we can do is here again I am going to assign the active sheet into WS like yesterday's demo. So WS equal to WB dot active, and now I'm going to print the name of the WS. So WS here instead of name we will be using title. There is no method called name here. We'll be using title. So that's what. Now here what happened is our we have created a we, or sorry we have created a Python file which is going to open this specific path. This specific path a Python file is open because here we had given statically we had given this path only. So whenever you are running this file, always this Python file will open this text.xlsx. That's why I said it is a static path. In case if you wanted to open any other file, either we have to come here and change the name of the file with the path, or we have to use dynamic path where we can give it at the runtime. That I'll just explain you next. Now this is very simple. I have a static path called C drive test folder test.xlsx. I'm just opening this test.xlsx by using the method load workbook. So let me execute this and I'll show you the output. So I'm just going to run this. So when you run here, you can see your process executed is with exit code 0, which means there is no error, and the name of WS is sheet 1. I can just show you. I'm just opening the test file, and the test file is having actually only one sheet, and the name of the sheet is sheet 1. So that's what it is displaying here as well. That's what it is displaying here. So this is what about opening the file by giving the static path. Now I'll explain how to open a file with runtime input. So now we are going to practice with a dynamic path, that is giving input at runtime. So here, instead of giving this path directly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a runtime input. So input is a statement, and just for my confirmation or my we are giving some string to display. So enter the file name with full path. Okay, now I'm going to get the input at runtime for the variable path, and that value I'm going to pass it as the argument to a load workbook module. Here one thing we have to make sure that the path will be always string, so we have to convert that into string by using str. By using str. So this you have to make sure. Now I'm just going to execute this program. So when I'm executing, it is asking enter the file name with full path. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the complete path as usual. So here I'm going to give C drive as usual for / C drive test folder / test dot xlsx. I had given my runtime input. Now I'm entering. So if you see here, now it is showing sheet 1, which means it opened that path what we had given, C drive test C folder, I'm sorry, C drive test folder test.xlsx. That specific file is open, and the active sheet name sheet 1 is displayed over here. So here what we have given is we are actually getting the input at runtime and storing the value into path, and that path we are actually converting into string and passing to argument to load workbook. So whatever the input value you had given in runtime, like here, so that file will be open and the further code will be executed. So this is how we can give dynamic input in order to open the file, existing file.
So now we are going to see what is the last used row of a specific sheet. So here in this case I am going to open the file test.xlsx, and as you all know, in test.xlsx I have only one sheet with sheet 1, and in this sheet last used row is 19. So let's see what the program is going to return the output. I'm just minimizing this. And here, in order to find out the maximum row, last used row of a specific sheet, we have a method called the max row. So that is ws dot max row. So when it is returning this max row, either it can be stored into a variable or directly we can print. So I am just printing ws dot maximum row. Now if you see here, This is the method which is used to give the last used row of a specific sheet. So the active sheet is stored in WS. So the active sheet used row will be displayed over here when I am using max row. Now I'm just going to run this. So when I'm running, it is actually asking for the file path what I want to load. So I'm just giving C drive test and test.xlsx. See here the active sheet name is sheet 1 and the last used row is 19. Now this is actually returning the entire worksheet what is the maximum, what is the last used row it is actually returning. So if you see here in this, we have three columns A, B, C. In A, the last used row is 8. In B, the last 9. In B, the last used row is 14. And in C, the last used row is actually 19. When I'm giving max row, it is actually giving the overall what is the last used row, that number, row number, it is actually returning. But if I want column wise, what I'm going to do. Let me explain how we can do that. See, now there is no direct method to do this with Openpyxl. So we have to fix some logic as usual. If I want to know column wise, how can I find it? Stay tuned, I'll explain in the next video. If you like this video and if you feel that this video was really useful to you, please subscribe and thanks for watching.